Hey, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the adrenaline and glucagon signaling pathway. So basically, both are similar, hydrophilic while the lipophobic. So basically, the function is a difference also. So adrenaline and glucagon will released due to the response of the starvation and stress. So stress basically stimulate and release the glucagon and adrenaline. Fight and flight response feel to release more. In this, basically the fight and flight mean the sympathetic nervous system activation. That both is the catabolic action. So for example, the fasting will lead to trigger the catabolic processes and exercise also. So both basically here is the insulin containing beta cell and alpha cell, glucagon containing endocrine hormone. So this is the pancreas. Pancreas contain alpha and beta cell, while the glucagon released from the alpha cell as a catabolic hormone and enter into the blood. So that is why it is known as the endocrine hormone. So first absorb into the blood and then target to the other tissue. So on the other hand, the adrenergic neuron, which that stimulate due to the sympathetic nervous system in the adrenal gland, which that contain medulla and adrenal cortex, to release the stress hormone adrenaline as well as noradrenaline. But in this video, we will understand only the adrenaline. So this the adrenal cortex is responsible for the production of adrenaline and noradrenaline, while the medulla produce the cortisol hormone, which that also functions same, but it will regulate the immune system. We will not go to understand the cortisol hormone. Anyhow, this tension, stress, anxiety and depression, fasting, exercise and working hard, the overload of the working, which that release the extra glucose into the blood, is not a diabetic, but the more releasing and the more starvation and exercise. So anyhow, this is the plasma membrane of the any cell, like the muscle cell. So for example, the G-coupled protein receptor, the glucagon receptor, which that contain trimeric protein, the alpha, beta and gamma. So the alpha protein will be activated by the phosphorylation to release from the trimeric protein, the intracellular protein. Whenever the ligand will bind, ligand is that the glucagon. So ligand is the glucagon. So remember in this case. So in this way, the separation, basically in this way, the G alpha protein basically will be bind with the adenylyl cyclase enzyme, which that is present in the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane of the cell. So ATP will be used to release the pyrophosphate by the adenylyl cyclase, because the adenylyl cyclase enzyme will produce the cyclic AMP, and this is the enzyme important for the ATP to convert the cyclic AMP, and this is the second messenger. While on the other hand, the case is the alpha adrenergic receptor will receive the adrenaline as a neurotransmitter absorption from the receptor, and in this the same trimeric protein activate to alpha protein will be separate because it is unstable after the activation, and the GTP convert from the GDP to the GTP, which that is activate and bind with the enzyme phospholipase C beta. And in this is the phospholipase C beta bind to activate the phosphatidyl inositol 4,5 bisphosphate. This basically will activate to convert the IP3 inositol inositol triphosphate. On the other hand, the diacyl glycerol will be separate and remain in the plasma membrane, while the IP3 will be separate. This IP3 will be activate, and in this way, the IP3 is the second messenger, which that activate the calcium storage endoplasmic reticulum. The calcium storing endoplasmic reticulum will lead to bind with the IP3 to activate an outflux of the IP3 gated calcium channel. So the outflux of the calcium from the endoplasmic reticulum will be occur. So in this way, this basically is the activation for glucose conversion from glycogen. So in this way, on the other hand, the phosphorylase kinase enzyme activate due to the high level of the calcium in the cytoplasm after the efflux from the endoplasmic reticulum. And in this way, the cyclic AMP also activate the protein kinase C, and both are responsible for activation of the phosphorylase enzyme. This phosphorylase enzyme will activate the glycogen to phosphorylation. This phosphorylation due to the phosphorylase enzyme to convert glycogen to separate the glucose residue. In this, the glucose 1-phosphate will be separate while the glucose secreted in blood. So glucose will be entered into the blood whenever the simple sugar will occur. So it will be move out from the cell. So in this way, whenever it will be going to the blood, to become a more saturation of the sugar in the blood is known as the hyperglycemia. This hyperglycemia is due to the more solute production in the cell, like the glucose will enter into the blood for the normal homeostasis in the cell. So in this way, I hope you make sense about that. The stress will rise the normal glucose spike, and in this way, this is the cell which that's going to be mitochondria. So the glucose will convert into the pyruvate by the glycolysis to produce more ATP. While this stress will lead to a pyruvate enter into the mitochondria to produce heat and ATP for the thermogenesis. But on the other hand, the oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange as aerobic respiration can be possible in this way. The fast breathing due to the adrenaline and glucagon signaling pathway for the production of more ATP by this mechanism. So this is the adrenaline and glucagon signaling pathway. I hope you make sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe.